Hey everyone, it's Sean from Crafted Elements, and in this video we're going to be looking at a few of our limited edition Minecraft templates. I'm going to be building a Minecraft inspired functional wood mallet that we can use here in the shop, which will be very, very cool. Now we got the Minecraft movie coming out. Minecraft is obviously a big, franchise video game series. So these are kind of inspired by that video game. We've got something like a creeper head, which you can make wall art with, or a dish with recessed pockets. We got that template. We've got our Minecraft sword. If you were a kid fighting with wood swords before the advent of electricity or the telephone or at least video games, you remember how cool it was to fight with a wood sword when you were little. So maybe you can make your kids or your grandkids some Minecraft swords like this guy using that Redder template, or of course just some Minecraft inspired art. But what I really want to work on today is making a Minecraft Dungeons style hammer. So very simple template. You can get these as well as those guys at craftelements.com, along with our other 200 plus other router templates to make very, very cool things. This one's a little bit different than this in the fact that we've actually radiused the inside and outside of these edges. So when you grab it, you're not stabbing yourself with pixelated sharp edges like you would with this sword, which is really sharp, because we actually want this to be actual functional mallet for shop use. Now, how are you going to do that? So what you're going to do is you're going to use this template. You're going to make a center section of the template center section of your mallet by recreating this entirely. So whether you're using a hardwood like walnut or babinga or oak or whatever you want to do to make the mallet head, the shaft, the holder, whatever, you're going to make all that in one run, and then you're going to make at least two of just the top. So in this case, I'm going to be using this piece of walnut. I'm going to cut that entire section out of the walnut here, and then I'm going to use this, which is I think some maple, to cut just two more pieces of the head. I'm going to laminate the head to this, sand it all down, and we're going to have a functional mallet inspired by Minecraft, which is going to be really cool because your kid or your grandkid's going to walk into your shop and be like, "Whoa, Dad," or "Granddad," or "Grandma," or "Mom, you've got a real Minecraft hammer?" And you'd be like, "Yep, I do." All right, let's get started. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to trace out our template to the wood and rough cut this wood before you fix the template to it. There are other ways to do this. You could actually mount this right here and then use your handheld router with a reversed bearing or a bearing on the bottom bit and actually go around and keep lowering it depending on how thick you wanted it. I don't really do that method just because I find it easier to rough cut and then use the router, the trim router, to get rid of the rest. But to each his own, however you want to do this. However you get there, doesn't matter to me. All right, got our template traced. I'm going to go to whatever saw I have, bandsaw, jigsaw, scroll saw, get rid of most of that, staying between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 inch outside this line. I'm going to come back and fix this, and then we'll shape it up with our flush trim bit. I've got my rough cut mallet center, and now I'm going to go and grab that other piece of material I had and use my template to trace the other sides of the mallet head that I'm going to laminate to that centerpiece. Okay, back to the saw. Now I'm going to come back and finish up the edges using our template. So we're going to take the acrylic part of our template and affix it to the rough cut material. You can use hot glue for this. You could use CA glue and masking tape. You could use this stuff, which is the X-Fasten like woodworkers tape. This brand is called X Fasten. It's from Amazon, but like two-sided woodworking tape, which is actually made for this purpose, works well too. And all you're doing is just temporarily affixing that template. These are reusable templates. You can use them over and over again, but of course you want to make sure that you're being sort of gentle with them, that you're not going to snap them when you remove them. Otherwise, you're not going to use the template again. So you're going to put enough on to hold it, but not enough on that it's going to be impossible to remove. And we're going to line our template back up to our tracing lines and press it down. Okay, and then we'll come back and we'll shape those after that. So I've got one of our Crafted Elements branded flush trim router bits here. It's got a nano coating on it to keep it cool. And obviously you've got your top mounted bearing, which is what rides against the acrylic router template. I'm just going to go ahead and put this in my router table. So we've aligned the guide bushing here on the actual router bit with the template, and then of course the blade is going to be taking up the rest of that wood, and we're just going to do this nice and slowly to approach it to try and avoid any kickback. I'm going to pry off this guy a little bit. You want to do this gently because you don't want to snap your template. Got our clean piece that is fully shaped to mimic this template. And now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with those smaller maple pieces here to finish the other sections of the heads. Rest of that template obviously couldn't get to because of the handle. So we've got all three of our pieces now, the centerpiece and the external pieces that we're going to use to thicken the head of our hammer. I'm going to go ahead and apply some wood glue to each side and then clamp it together. And once that's all dry, we'll come back and we'll sand it up. I'm going to make sure everything's lined up when you're laminating this. Remember, we're going to come back and sand this after, so a little bit extra wood glue doesn't really matter. And then we'll clamp it together and let it sit for an hour or so to harden up. So I took the clamps off our hammer, and the very last thing to do is just finish this off by sanding it down to make sure that these laminated pieces all line up and that you've gotten rid of all the extra glue. And if you want, you could take it and router out the sides, which I'll probably put a nice 1/4-inch chamfer around the mallet head, and then I can oil it up to finish the project. So pretty simple. I'm going to start with an 80 grit sandpaper, go over the entire thing, go up to 220. I'll round it off with our router bit, I'll oil it, and then we'll be done. You like my hammer, Renee? Oh, yeah, I'm recording. Don't tell the HR department I said that. Okay guys, final moment here. Finishing this guy up. We've sanded it down to 220. Now I've got my Total Boat Wood Honey. I really like Total Boat Wood Honey. They obviously make great epoxy and we're partners with them. They supply us with our epoxy and our wood honey that we use here in our shop and on this channel. But I like this product because it goes on really, really easy and it creates like a nice kind of, I don't want to say a shell, but essentially a shell. It's also food safe, so I use it on cutting boards and charcuterie boards and things like that. And I think it makes sense to apply oil to this hammer or mallet because, you know, once you start hitting, if you put like a polyurethane, like a hard actual shell painted finish or something like that on this thing, and then you hit something with it, it's probably gonna crack and break, whereas this oil might crack and break still, but it's really easily repaired by putting some more oil on it. So I think the oil finish is probably the best for a like an actual shop hammer like this. And this stuff I typically will let set here for 10 minutes, maybe. By that time it's kind of absorbed all into the wood and we can then buff it off and just wipe it all off. And then you can handle it after that, but I don't think this stuff fully sets for like 12 or 24 hours. So it's not actually like its maximum hardness for that period, but it's, you know, fully handleable and usable if you want to use it before then. And this stuff obviously makes that wood grain and the wood color pop. You can see I've got that nice maple finish on the exterior and you've got the walnut for the main body there. Let's give it the final rub down to our Minecraft inspired hammer. Got a fully functional hammer here that I could use for here in the shop, or I could use to defend against intruders that may kind of barge in through the door, or, you know, whatever. Pounds and heads. All right, so we got our hammer and our hammer template. It shows you how to make that. We've got obviously our Minecraft inspired sword and our creeper template. Now these three templates are currently available at craftelements.com, but are only a limited edition, limited run. They're not part of our regular line. It was just something fun we wanted to do to celebrate the Minecraft movie coming out and just generally do something a little bit different. But if you're watching this video a little later in time, we don't have these templates, I apologize, but there are many, 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 200 plus, maybe even more acrylic router templates and molds and things like that at craftelements.com that'll help you make projects like this or very similar to this. All right guys, thanks for watching and make sure you comment below in the video if you have any questions or positive or negative comments. And of course, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more projects. Thanks for watching and happy making.